happening, people? It's your girl, and welcome back to the channel. You already know what it is. Big up to everyone locked in on this wonderfully warm, I don't know. That don't even make sense. But big up to everyone locked in 2 days after the loss against Liverpool. And I hope you guys are on a trajectory. I hope, the low was low and now everybody's coming back up. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. You lot know what it is, man. Daily dose of Mina. No transfer news per se. We've got a little bit to talk about in terms of things that may have happened in the transfer window, but they didn't. But obviously, transfer window is now shut. But of course, Manchester United always give us something to talk about. Without a doubt, they always give us something to talk about. Now, funnily enough, yesterday, a bunch of interviews dropped yesterday evening with Berrada and Dan Ashworth. And it was done before the game, but obviously outlets decided to publish it after the game. So we're going to talk about that. A lot of the stream is based on that. You lot know I like a good athletic article. We're going to bring it up on the screen and we're going to go through all of the quotes from Dan Ashworth and Berrada because they spoke about a lot. They spoke about the transfer window. They spoke about Erik ten Hag. They spoke about their role at the club. So we're going to talk about all of that as well. They also spoke, interestingly, about Jadon Sancho and why they chose to let Jadon Sancho go. Now, for the Jadon Sancho haters, they didn't say anything that is worthy of you guys getting excited. And for the Jadon Sancho lovers, they didn't say anything. It was a very diplomatic response, or a diplomatic answer, as you would say, I think, from Dan Ashworth. So we're going to speak a lot about that. Big up to everyone that's locked in, guys. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. And I need a big favor from you lot. You lot. You lot can hit the like button. You can do the simple stuff, but please go and subscribe right there. Just scroll up the chat, hit that button, and go and subscribe to my second channel, which is a gaming channel. Now, of course, you lot know I'm a regular gamer. I do a lot of EAFC stuff. I did Elden Ring very briefly here on the channel, but I want to move it all over there just to keep this channel strictly football. So just go over there and just hit subscribe. Simple as that. If everybody here goes and subscribes, I'll be closer to 100 subs on there. So hopefully I'll be able to go live soon as well. Big up P60 says, Salam sis, looking forward to the show, and smash the likes. You lot heard P60, man. You guys heard P60. Big up DJ says, blessings, Minna. Let's not get panicking. It was an awful result, but we will bounce back. I guess we can kind of just quickly touch on that Liverpool game. Now, obviously, yesterday we did Minna's State of Mind. I released a 5 in 5. If you lot want to watch that, go and watch that as well, where we kind of dissect what I identified was not working during the game. Now that I've kind of had the chance, I think the most important thing, can I just say, guys, when after a loss, I think we have to, it was really nice for me to actually do a video the day after, because at that point, the reactionary emotions are kind of not there anymore. In the moment, you've got a lot of reactionary moments. Had I recorded that video straight after the game, I think I would have been saying a lot different stuff. But I feel like after a day after the game, I got the opportunity to really just kind of look at the game from bird's eye view and analyze it better, rather than solely on emotion, because I don't like to try be emotionally driven most of the time with my discussion points, etc. So that was really helpful. And even today, it's been 2 days after the loss. It's funny because everyone I know is like, oh, you went to the game, yeah, oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm like, it is what it is. But it also kind of gives us an opportunity to take a step back and actually understand what is the issue with the way that Manchester United are playing under Erik ten Hag. Is it solely on him? Yes and no. Is it on the players? Some yes, some no. One thing I can say that I've actually identified since the weekend is that the biggest argument that a lot of people have, and I'm starting to understand it a little bit, is this idea or this notion that players are not being played to their strength. Now, I saw a stat today, I saw it the day before, about Kobbie Mainoo. Let me bring it up actually, because this is a perfect segue kind of to what we're going to be discussing. I saw a stat about Kobbie Mainoo that said players with more than 10 interceptions, in the opening 3 games of the Premier League campaign. N'Golo Kante had 11 interceptions at Chelsea in the 2021 season in the first 3 games. Kobbie Mainoo had 11 interceptions in this season's first 3 games in total. Now, some will argue, wow, what a stat. It just shows you how good Kobbie Mainoo is. But when I look at that, I think he shouldn't that's not something he should be doing. This shouldn't be as like N'Golo Kante's job at Chelsea for me was a lot different to what Kobbie Mainoo's job is. And I just feel like a young player that hasn't had a preseason, right? Because there's other players that also haven't had preseason, but he is one of them. He went all the way to the finals with England in the Euros. But a player who has not had preseason, that automatically has just been thrown in to the season, starting with the Community Shield, and since then, every single game in the Premier League, this is not a good stat to kind of get giddy over. I know giddy is the term that everybody's using to discuss Man United players, but for me, Mainoo is not suited to being in that Kante role. He's not the Kante kind of player. And yes, it's good that he's got these interceptions and it's the highest. And I've seen that he's been winning his duels, but the work that Kobbie Mainoo is being asked to be done in that midfield is way too much. It's way too much. And a young player like him will get driven into the ground, not literally, figuratively. He will get driven into the ground with everything that is being asked of him to do. You could put Kante there. Kante could probably do a good job, but he might even struggle himself. And for me, when we see these kind of, can I say, stats, it's a good stat to see, but also the eye test. We're looking at Kobbie Mainoo and saying, why is he being asked to do all of this? Why is he being asked to do all of this? I thought it was kind of nice to touch on that, just because it was something that I was going to discuss anyways. Quickly on Rabiot, a player, one of the few players that is a free agent still. Fabrizio has shut down possibly all links suggesting that Manchester United would sign him. He's also confirmed, Fabrizio Romano has also confirmed that Manchester United have repeatedly rejected the opportunity to sign Adrien Rabiot this summer. Now, he's currently being offered to so many teams. If you lot are aware, he left Juve, doesn't have a team per se right now. He turned down Liverpool reportedly, but now I'm thinking, did he turn down Liverpool or did Liverpool turn him down? And it's reported that his agency and his team are going around, and offering him to multiple teams. Now, I did kind of think that Man United would look in this direction off the back of the Fulham game and off the back of the Liverpool game, off the back of the Brighton game, etc. But it looks like that's being kind of shut down. Fabrizio Romano also kind of reported that Manchester United's stance and Manchester United's position on this is very clear, and they have no intention to pursue the player. So we can kind of let that go. And just quickly as well, just on whilst we're here on the topic of transfers, reportedly, if you don't remember transfer deadline day, there was one name that popped up amongst other players, which was Christian Eriksen. No formal bid was received by Ajax and Real Betis. That was the two names that we've been hearing linked to Christian Eriksen. And as it stands, Christian Eriksen will remain a Manchester United player for the foreseeable future. We already know he's got 12 months left. In his contract. He becomes a free agent at the end of the season. It's not the worst thing in the world if Manchester United just let him leave. It's honestly not going to be the worst thing in the world. And just quickly, before we get into the context of the stream, this is probably the biggest shock for me. Can I just say, I am so shocked to see Victor Osimhen at Galatasaray. Now, one thing you lot know, I talk about Turkish football all the time here. I love how enthusiastic and how committed Turkish teams are, and especially like the competitive nature that they have amongst each other. Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, etc. Now, Galatasaray haunts me a little bit from last season, but this is probably the biggest shock of the transfer window, without a doubt. This guy was linked to PSG. He was linked to Chelsea. Reportedly, Chelsea offered less than 50% of wages to him. I think he's on about 150k a week right now, roughly. I'm just approximating. So if they offered him less than 50%, that's crazy. I don't know if that's legit. His agent, literally, this is what happens, guys. Yeah, I want Victor Osimhen to do well, by the way, because it's not so often you get the opportunity. It's been a long time, can I say? Probably Didier Drogba was the last number 9 or last striker of African heritage that was the best of his time. There was a time when Didier Drogba was a beast, right? I would love to see Victor Osimhen being the best number 9 in the world, but his team and his agency effed him over this summer. Now, if you don't remember, take it back to when Napoli won the league. What was it, 2 years ago? He signed a new deal with Napoli with a gentleman's agreement that had a release clause. At that time, a lot of teams were looking for him, but he decided to stay. This guy became a legend in Naples, yeah? He became a legend just to go out like this. Now, of course, it's just a loan to Galatasaray. It's only a loan spell because he's been exiled out of the Napoli team. Conte has no intention to not even make him part of the matchday squad. They removed him from the Serie A matchday team that they submitted. And now he finds himself in Galatasaray. Now, listen, the welcoming... Mad. Look at the welcoming. 3 in the morning. 3 in the morning. And people are outside the airport waiting for him. 3 in the morning and people are outside in the airport waiting for him. Not only that, they even had the ultras. Guys. Look at this. 3 in the morning. They're serious fans. They are serious fans. Look at this. Galatasaray. This is what I said, yeah. Turkish football is a crazy vibe. It's a crazy vibe. If he goes and breaks the record of Turkish football, guys, he's going to be held as a hero. He's going to be held as a hero, as a club legend. He might be the first player that goes on loan. He might be the first player, guys, that goes on loan and becomes a legend just from a loan spell. Just from a loan spell. Mina, you missed the African legend like Kaka. I did not miss him. Anyways, listen, before we get into the main part, I just wanted to bring this up and I want to hear you guys' thoughts as well. Marcus Rashford was, should I say, he succumbed to criticism on Sky Sports today. He's been the topic of discussion, can I say, for quite some time since the season started, right? And today they were kind of not dissecting. It was a 2-minute clip. If you lot want, I retweeted it on my Twitter. You can go check it out. But they were discussing Marcus Rashford so far this season, right? And his involvement or his lack of involvement in scoring goals. Now, other stats that they kind of brought up was his one-on-one success rate. So his 1v1, his forward passing rate, touches in the opposition box, and big chances created. We know that he's created big chances that other people can't put away. I think United are top of the table. If we're ever going to be top of the table in something, it's going to be top of the table in big chances missed. That is what United are top of the table in right now, with the big chances missed so far. Joshua Zirkzee, if you lot remember, had probably 2 clear-cut chances from Marcus Rashford. For me, that header, he should have put it away. Any number 9 should put that away. Any striker should put that away. If that's, I don't want to say it, but if that's Scott McTominay, he's putting that chance away. But this is what was interesting to me, is his forward passing rate. Now, I was talking about it on Twitter yesterday, and just talking about Marcus Rashford's change in style over the last season or 2 in particular. Since he had that breakout season under Erik ten Hag in his first year, he scored 30+ goals and assists. His style has changed. And in particular, I'm going to talk about the first 2 games of the season, and then we're going to compare it to Liverpool. Because in the first 2 games of the season, he was scared to hit the byline. He was scared to take his man on. He was up against Veltman against Brighton. He was up against Veltman and I think Milner, who was kind of supporting him as well. He was scared to take him on and hit that byline. I don't know if you lot remember, there's a thing that he always used to do where he hits the line and plays that ball across the box, right? Because you've always expecting or anticipating runners to run in. Whether it used to be Anthony Martial playing up top, or you'd have Bruno Fernandes running in, McTominay, etc., etc. You'd always anticipate someone running in across the pit, across the box. And Marcus Rashford would play that ball, or he would do this thing where he'll hit the line, and instead of going straight to the line to play the ball across, he'd cut in on his right foot and take a shot. Marcus Rashford has not taken a shot this season. And it looks like every time he has the ball, he's going sideways or he's going back. And I've noticed it also with Garnacho against Liverpool in particular. I noticed it with Garnacho where instead of kind of taking on his man, he'd come back to go to Mizraoui, or he'd come back and go central or dribble all the way and go back to our back line. Do you guys think that this is, at this point, a choice? Because we see Amad Diallo doing something quite different, right? When Amad Diallo plays, he's not doing that thing where he's going sideways or he's going backwards. He's going at his man, or if he does pass back, he's looking for that one touch with Mazraoui, with Kobe, to kind of free himself up. And he was doing it a lot against Liverpool when he came in those 20 minutes, to a point where he had the most touches in the opponent's box the entire game from Manchester United. He had 3 touches, I think it was, or 4 touches, and he literally came on 20 minutes to spare. I genuinely think that this is an instruction from the coaching staff, from Erik ten Hag, to overload it, and I can't make sense of it. I really, really can't make sense of it, because you look at the overlap sometimes, or the lack of overlap, should I say. Diogo Dalot is not always coming with the overlap. Sometimes he does. Mazraoui is always coming with the overlap, or he's going central, similar to Diogo Dalot. And this is why I say it's an instruction. I don't want to hear this argument that Marcus Rashford plays better with a fullback, etc. Because yes, the fullback does create space for a winger, right? You get the fullback coming, overlapping you. It kind of leaves the defending fullback in a situation where, do I go to the overlap or do I cover the guy? And I understand that. But Marcus Rashford is hesitant in everything when he gets the ball, because there's no one near him. You kind of look in front, there's no one near him. Joshua Zirkzee, nowhere near him. Bruno, or whoever's in the 10, nowhere near him. And of course, Marcus Rashford, I think, is subject to a lot of criticism right now. I think he's getting, after Casemiro, I actually think Marcus Rashford is getting probably the 2nd or 3rd most criticism for Manchester United right now. I'll say it's a mix between Bruno, Rashford, and Onana, right? But I'm really, really wondering. He's looking like someone who's low on confidence, A, and B, is being instructed to do all of this. Now, I've spoke to bare people about this. I've spoken to Marcel about this. We talk about it all the time. And somebody said to me, why doesn't he just come out and make a statement and say he's playing how he's instructed? And I was like, a player will never do that. A player will never come out and say, oh, you lot are all criticizing me for the way I'm playing. Well, this is how I'm being told to play. He's never going to do that. Mina, ever since Erik ten Hag transitioned from counter-attacking to high pressing, players like Rashford and Casemiro have been struggling to keep up. Is it time to move on from them? Is it time to move on from them? Or is it time to move back to the system that brings out the best in your players? And that's a question to all of you guys. Because Erik ten Hag, can I say, came into Manchester United and said he wanted to make us the best transitional team. We were playing transitional football or counter-attacking football under Oli. Would you be happy in shifting towards that transitional style of football? Or do you want to, what kind of football is it that people want to see? Because I know what kind of football I want to see. I'm not going to say I want to see a City type football, but I want to see a type of football where Manchester United can maintain possession, can create chances, and dominate. That's all I want to see. I don't want to see a game where it's hot potato, where the football is hot potato and it's going back and forth, back and forth. I want to see a game similar to the big teams, similar to Arsenal, similar to Liverpool, similar to City. I want to see us dominate possession, and not only dominate possession, but create a lot of these kind of create clear-cut chances and actually put the chances away. When I see big chances created, I can applaud Marcus Rashford for that, because it's not easy to create those chances. But B, I'm also looking at the players and thinking, you guys need to start putting away the chances that that is being created for you. I mean, I remember with Paul Pogba, we were talking about how many assists Paul Pogba could have had if people put away their chances. We're talking about the Fulham game on opening week. It would have been a completely different story if Bruno Fernandes had put away his chances. The Liverpool game, we didn't really create much. So I think, except for the Zirkzee chances and the Mazraoui shot, Zirkzee had 3 chances, Mazraoui had a shot. Outside of that, Manchester United really didn't create anything else. But if United are able to be clinical like the bigger teams, a lot of this is a different conversation that we're having. It's a completely different conversation that we're having. How's it an instruction if Ahmad isn't doing it? In the Brighton game, Garnacho came on and took men on. Even though he lost the ball, he still took them on. Now, let me ask you a question. And this is just me being devil's advocate. Sometimes I feel like as a sub, I could come on and just do what I think is going to work. I'm going to play how I want to play. I'm not saying going against the manager, but if we're down, for example, in the Brighton game, if we're down, Liverpool game, we're down, Ahmad comes on, he's now creating chances, he's taking on a guy. How likely is it the manager's going to sub you off after you just got subbed on? Now, I'm just saying that for devil's advocate. So why is Erik ten Hag playing a system that doesn't suit the players that we have? I mean, it's very similar, can I say, to what Casemiro reportedly has said. If you lot have listened to Talk of the Devils podcast with Andy Mitten and the team from The Athletic, he said that Casemiro felt like the manager is playing to his weaknesses. And you look back at all the times that Casemiro has... It's true, Casemiro has struggled. Like, we could talk about the Liverpool game in particular. But Erik ten Hag has played to quite a few people's weaknesses. And most of the time, who is the one that is slated? We could talk about Harry Maguire, for example. We know what Harry Maguire's strong suits are. We know what his weaknesses are. When Manchester United have tried to play in a style that maybe does not bring out the best in Harry Maguire, when he makes errors, who's the one that's slated 90% of the time? Now, or maybe 100% of the time, it's him. When Casemiro has made errors, who's the one that's slated 100% of the time? It's Casemiro. Arguably, I would say Casemiro should not be the deepest kind of lion player. But then I'm looking at Kobbie Mainoo, and I'm saying you shouldn't be the deepest lion player either. And then I'm looking at all of them and saying, well, actually, how about all three of you guys be the deepest lion player? Because there's so much in this system that we're playing under Erik ten Hag. There is so much ground to cover. You have to be energized. You have to be fit. You have to have a serious kind of work ethic to kind of be getting up and down the pitch. And you know how I know that you guys all see this as well? Because we get to 70th minute and everybody look like they are dying, literally, figuratively, for air. They literally look like after a midfield of running up and down the pitch non-stop, suddenly in transition, people find themselves unable to get back. And that's what I'm saying is you're playing to people's weaknesses. I'm not saying that people should not be fit. Of course, people should be fit. But let's find a starting 11, guys, honestly, who's fit enough to play Ten Hag's system in the Premier League. Yeah, I don't want to talk about the Eredivisie and all of that stuff. Let's talk about... Because we would have to have a starting 11 of Kante's. And even then, Kante might get tired, right? Because people say Kante never gets tired. Kante might get tired in that system of having to run up and down the pitch non-stop. It's, for me, unreasonable. And if in an ideal world, if I would like Ten Hag to adjust his system, I would want him to adjust his system, in my opinion, that works to the strengths of players. Now, obviously, I saw... Oh, man, I wish I saved it. I saw the funniest thing of Casemiro, for example. Hold on. I saw the funniest picture of Casemiro of where he passes the ball when he's basically... United have created an overload, right? He's got Bruno on his right by himself, and then he's got an overload on the left where Liverpool are kind of drifting towards, and he passes the ball there. Erik ten Hag, I know, is not telling him to pass there. I know Erik ten Hag is not telling him to pass there. And that's why I think it's playing to your player's strengths. One thing I've noticed about Casemiro in particular, right? Short passes is the bane of his existence. He can ping a pass, right? He will ping a stupid pass across the pitch. But the second you ask him to make a 15, 20-yard pass, the guy suddenly does not know how to pass. So why are we asking him to do that? Why are we asking him to be that ball progressor from the DM role? Play to his strengths. Let me see what you lot are saying in the chat. Let me scroll up. Academy has already embraced Ten Hag's philosophy, playing high press, quick transition football. Winning the domestic treble last season stands as a testament to Erik ten Hag's style and approach. Let me just again be the devil's advocate. I follow the Academy to a reasonable amount. So if you lot do follow the Academy consistently, let me know. Has this always been a philosophy of Manchester United in the way that they're playing right now? Because I know Manchester United have had a decent academy team, especially an under 18s and under 21s team as well. So I remember they won the FA Youth Cup the year before Ten Hag came in, if I'm not wrong. In the season before, Ten Hag came in, they won the FA Youth Cup. And we're not going to attribute that to Ten Hag. Is the playing style completely him? Now, if I was to go back or go forward, I think this is where Ineos come into play in particular, and where Jason Wilcox comes into play, where they're trying to align all the kind of playing styles of all the teams. So the academy, and by the way, the academy splits into two. They got the girls, and then they got the boys teams, and then they've got the women's team, and they got the men's team. They are trying to align a philosophy that is all of those kind of teams are playing in that style. I could turn around and say, well, the women's did pretty. The girls' academies did very well last season. I'm not going to sit here and attribute that to Erik ten Hag, because clearly Nick Cox, shout out to Nick Cox, I think he's the director of the academy and he does a lot of work with the academy. Clearly they are creating something at an academy level that's working, because it's replicated in the girls' side as well. The girls' academy, I think, won 3 trophies last season as well. I'm not going to sit here and put that all on Erik ten Hag. Are we going to talk about Onana being not being able to do the basics? Big up to Paramount, by the way. Newest member, big up to Paramount. Welcome to the community. If you want to join the membership club, just like Paramount, guys, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content, and of course, you get to support the growth of the channel. You get all these cool emojis. Let me see. I need to add a Harry Potter one. I'm in the works of doing that. Currently, this is my favorite one. But you get all of that. And of course, like I said, you get to support the growth of the channel. If you enjoy the content here and you want to support the channel, you can do it in so many different ways, such as joining the members gang, aka the Minions gang. Or you can do another thing, which is sending in super chats with your comments, with your questions, with your thoughts, just to show some love and appreciation to the channel, which obviously I rely on likes, I rely on subscribers and all of that to keep the channel going, and super chats, etc., etc. as a full-time content creator. And if you want to do something simple, you can just hit the like button. We've got over 100 people in here, so it shouldn't be difficult for us to get to at least 100 likes before the end of the stream. And if you want to support the channel in other ways, you can go into the bio of this video, guys, and subscribe to my new channel. Simple as that. Mina Gaming HQ. We're going to be doing all the gaming content on there and on Twitch. Of course, EAFC coming out this month. We've got NBA coming out this month. I still need to finish Elden Ring. We got Call of Duty Black Ops coming out in a month and a bit, and any other games coming out between then and now. I'll be streaming that over there, so please go and subscribe. But let's get back to the topic of discussion. Big up to OJ, says no one can cover that much space alone consistently for 90 minutes. It's just impossible. That's why it happens for like the first 20-30 minutes or the first 15 minutes of the second half. That's facts. If you don't watch a lot of the time, yeah, after a game, when we come here and discuss the game, what's the first thing we're always saying? Oh, the first 20-30 minutes was good. Oh, the first 10 minutes of the second half was good. Because that's when they're most energized. That is when they're most energized. Now, of course, it doesn't, for me, make excuses for, like, misplaced passes. Casemiro misplaced the pass. I think it was 4 minutes into the first half, right? He misplaced the pass against Liverpool. That set the tone for me for what we could expect from Casemiro. But everybody else, I saw Bruno Fernandes having a go at Diogo Dalot for a chance. I think it was a chance that Liverpool had, that Diogo Dalot had to get back for, and Bruno was literally bollocking him, having a go at him, and literally less than 5 minutes later, Bruno does some nonsense on the ball. So that kind of stuff for me, the manager cannot control. But do you know what I wish the manager would do? And this is where I would want the manager to be ruthless, right? No shit, excuse my language, but tolerance for no nonsense. This is the biggest game for Manchester United thus far in the season. Arguably, I would say Manchester United versus Liverpool, based on history, has always been a fixture that you would always look for on the sheet when you get the Premier League announcements, right? When you get Premier League, I'm not gonna lie, when I see Premier League games announced, there's particular games I look for. I look for Liverpool at home, I look for Liverpool away, I look for the Manchester derby, I look for Arsenal. Those are the 3 teams I look for, those fixtures, right? And when a player like Casemiro did what he did in terms of how he was playing, Erik ten Hag obviously took him off. Half-time, they went down the tunnel. I saw Collier warming up, and I knew straight away he was coming on, right? I wish Erik ten Hag hooked Casemiro straight after the second game. Don't even wait for it to don't even wait to go down the tunnel. Don't even wait for 15 minutes in the dressing room. He should have just took him off there and then, because that sets for me a precedent that you're not going to tolerate this sort of performance. You're not going to tolerate it. And when you talk about, you know, other players, I saw you know what it is with Man United, right? It takes one person to F up and create an opportunity for the other team to score, and suddenly everyone loses their head. Suddenly Lisandro Martinez can't pass. Suddenly Onana, Mr. Crystal Feet, we were told that he was the best ball-playing goalkeeper, and I was never for Onana. If you lot can go, I will pull up tweets right now of me saying United should sign Diogo Costa in 2012. 2022, sorry guys, 2022. But suddenly everybody is making mistakes. It's ridiculous. Biggest game, and our centre back is taking photos with the man that came into his house and wiped his shoes everywhere. I think this is in reference. Let me bring it up. People are going mad about it. I don't know why this is how you know international football just brings out conversations for no reason. Because me, guys, I'm like, is it really this deep? I know it is deep, but this is why I also say football has evolved from what it used to be, right? Let me bring up the picture for those of you that don't know. Obviously, everyone's reporting for international break. Leacher posted this picture on his Twitter today. And then it says en casa. What does that mean? Home? Casa means home, right? So he's at home or on my way home. Let me see what that means. At home, yeah. Okay, he says at home. He's traveled to Argentina with this. We need to accept that football is not what it used to be 20 years ago when the England team hated each other because of rivalry. Big up to Nuruddin, says football between footballers is much more calm and professional, much more. 100%. 20 years ago, if you lot remember the England national team, right? The golden era, they called it. Lampard, Gerrard, Becks, Rooney, all of them, right? Gary Neville spoke about it on the Overlap one time where he said back then he used to get all the United boys together. Rooney, he used to get Scholes, Rio, Becks, etc. when Becks was at United, and he used to get them all to go and have lunch 45 minutes before everyone else, because he was like, we did not want to talk to Chelsea players, we didn't want to talk to Liverpool players, we hate it. Like the rivalry with Arsenal, Liverpool, etc. was so deep that I think even former England managers have talked about how they struggle to kind of sift through that rivalry, the club rivalry, and that coming into the national team. Now you look at England, you got Saka and Maddison, best of buds. They play for Arsenal and Spurs, best of buds. You got players, obviously, who all play for rival teams, right? But they're best of buds at national teams. They're best of buds. We need to accept, guys, football is not like that anymore. It is not like that anymore. Him posting a picture with McAllister, yeah, read the room. We just got slapped by Liverpool. McAllister pulling the strings, etc., etc. But they're friends at the end of the day. They are national teammates. They are friends. Now, in an ideal world, what would I like? I would like at Old Trafford. Nunes came on, right? I don't know if you lot saw it on the TV, but Darwin Nunes came on. And as he comes to the Liverpool's front line, he slaps Martinez on the ass, and they just like hug each other like this, and then he daps up. I think it was Maguire. Are Liverpool fans gonna get mad about that? They're not gonna do that. But this for me is like, just read the room. It's just like, come on, bro, read the room. We just lost. Big up Mo Money says, do some Arsenal appreciation content like Alice. The day you lot get Arsenal content on here, actually, it's not far-fetched. I might do like short form, not Arsenal, but just general Premier League thing, maybe like roundups after thing. But you won't get me talking about Arsenal too much. Thank you for the contribution, though. M says, Minna, do you think Eric Ten Hag is our manager by Ipswich? This is the thing. Everybody's kind of putting it on, oh, do you think he's going to survive this run of games? When we play Ipswich, let me see when we play Ipswich. It's quite far away. We play Ipswich on the 23rd of November. We play Ipswich 23rd of November. There's a heap of games, yeah, between them. Some of them are crazy games. There's a particular run of games that scares me. I'm not gonna lie. Oh my god, I'm on holiday then as well. Oh no, I'm on holiday during international break. You see, guys, I timed my holiday perfectly. I timed it perfectly so that it's during international break. But we got Southampton, Barnsley. That should be easy wins, right? But you don't always get easy wins with Manchester United. Palace last season, we lost 4-0. We literally lost 4-0. Obviously, Elise is gone, but they've got Eze. They've just signed Nketiah. They've just signed Trevor Chalobah. They've signed, if I'm not wrong, did they? No. I think I don't want to say it wrong. I think West Ham signed this guy. No, Crystal Palace did. Crystal Palace signed Lacroix. I think his name is. I remember him from FIFA, from Ultimate Team. Then we got 20. We got Tottenham. This is the run of games that scares me, guys. The run of games that scare me quite a bit is this run here from Tottenham to West Ham. We've got Tottenham at home. We got Porto away, we got Villa away, we got Brentford at home, we got Fenerbahce away, we got West Ham away. We've got 2 home games out of 6. That is scary. And that's before we even get to Ipswich. After that, we got Chelsea. That's another game. So we got 7 games, 3 at home, and there's some difficult runs. For me, Erik ten Hag has to, if he doesn't survive that run, but then again, guys, and this will actually move us to the what's it called, to this part here. Ahmad Berrada and Dan Ashworth's interview with media that they did talking about all of this, the way that they're speaking, for me, it looks like Erik ten Hag will be safe for this season. I personally think if Man United are very far out of top 4, then they will action something. That's when they will action something. But I don't know why people are you are expecting us to lose all those games, but it's true. If you have no expectation, you won't be disappointed. Minna, has AGT messaged you? Yeah, man. He's been messaging. He was the first person to message me. Mateta, Eze, and Kamada are crashing on us. I've been a fan of Kamada since he was at Frankfurt. I liked him at Frankfurt. I was disappointed that he went to Lazio. And I was disappointed also that he went to Palace as well. But it is what it is. But let's get into this. The main part of the stream for me is the Athletic article. If you have read it, good. If you haven't read it, even better, because we're going to read it here together and we're going to kind of dissect it, where they talk about the interview exactly in writing, understanding Ashworth and Berrada's answers. They talked about Ten Hag, his future, the transfer window. They spoke about specifically Jadon Sancho, etc. And let's start with Erik ten Hag. Because I think this has been the topic of discussion for everybody in the last, I would say in the last 12 or so hours, regarding what has been said to news outlets. In particular, this time here, it's with Ahmad Berrada and Dan Ashworth. Let's get into this. So what has Ahmad Berrada said about Erik ten Hag? He said, in terms of the contract, now the contract that they gave, he said it was a decision that was taken prior to both of their arrivals. You see this? Berrada and Ashworth are basically saying that the decision was prior to the arrival of them. But he said, as I said before, we are very happy with that decision. Erik has our full backing and we have worked very closely together in this transfer window. We're going to continue working very closely with him to help him get the best results out of the team. Now, I'm glad that Athletic are kind of pressing for answers, because then they said, is he still backed if there's a bad run of results? And this is where these lot are PR trained, right? Ahmad Berrada is PR trained. Dan Ashworth is PR trained. Because the Athletic asked, is he still backed if there's a bad run of results? They didn't give a yes or a no answer. They did not give yes, we will still back him, and no, we won't back him. Ahmad Berrada went on to say, do we still believe in Erik? Absolutely. We think Erik is the right coach for us and we're fully backing him. For me, that's not answering the question. That is not answering. That's a diplomatically correct answer, right? They went on to ask Dan Ashworth to say, is it not odd that you find yourself inheriting a coach? And Dan Ashworth went on to say, it's happened at Newcastle with Eddie Howe. It's happened at West Brom with Tony Mowbray. It's very rare that you go into a job as a sporting director and there's no manager in place. So he's saying historically he's worked in situations like this where he comes in and there's already a manager in the job. I think Ahmad Berrada not kind of confirming whether he's backed on the back of bad results is one thing, but also I could say maybe they don't anticipate there will be bad results. Maybe they don't anticipate that. But then this is what I like about the Athletic, guys. And this is why I always say to you, I love a good article on the Athletic. Because they said, you have not said no. You had no say in keeping him. They're asking them to confirm that. And Ashworth went on to say, I didn't start until July, so none whatsoever. We have the confirmation. We have this confirmation. This conversation all the time about whether they've made their bed, they have to lay in it. Ahmad Berrada and Dan Ashworth had no involvement in giving Erik ten Hag that 1-year contract extension and keeping him. It's come from the horse's mouth itself. Ashworth said, I didn't start until July 1st. And I think that, when did the news come out? I need to go and see exactly when the date. I can't remember when. I know it's in July somewhere. But let me scroll back just to see when exactly the news came out that Erik ten Hag was staying. July 4th, July 3rd, July 4th. It was around that time. 2 more years. It's when he got 2 more years, quotation marks. It wouldn't have been July 13th because by then I think the preseason would have started. So it was definitely before preseason. Anyways, Ashworth went on to say, I didn't start until July 1st, so none whatsoever. All I can do is reiterate what I remember saying. I've really enjoyed working with Erik for the past 8 weeks, and I see my job is to support him in every way I possibly can. And whether that's operational, whether that's with recruitment, whether that's with the medical or with the psychological side, whether that's training ground flow, it's just to take as much off him to allow him to fully focus on the training pitch and the match tactical plan. So basically, it's confirmed to us what Ashworth, or the purpose of Ashworth, Dan Ashworth in this role. Outside of the match pitch, i.e. the tactical side, and outside of the training pitch, Ashworth is there to take everything else off of Erik ten Hag's plate. But essentially, the decision was made to keep Erik ten Hag before Berrada arrived. Berrada didn't arrive, I think, until mid-July, and Dan Ashworth didn't arrive until the beginning of July. They've both confirmed that the decision was made before they started their role. However, they have not confirmed that he would be backed regardless of the run of results. That's why I say this kind of thing was the title of this, the way that everyone has kind of packaged this is fully backed, right? It's the title of the video. I think the thumbnail says fully backed. They back him, I think, up until he's unbackable. That's not even a word. But until they can no longer back him, I think they back him. Right now, they can back him because they've added someone to work with him. They've brought in a bunch of players. And they're going to continue to assess how United go on. I think when United are falling, if United fall far out from top 4, which I hope they don't, then I think they will reassess the situation. I don't think they'll reassess the situation until they identify clearly that United are way out of top 4. I don't think top 6 is all right. Top 6 Europa League is not good enough for Manchester United. And when I say it's not good for Manchester United, I'm specifically saying for Erik ten Hag in particular in his 3rd year. I think that's when they will reassess it. And Berrada and Ashworth now have a leg to stand on because however the dynamic of the season goes, if Erik ten Hag continues to deliver these type of results, they can turn around and say, well, you lot made the decision before we came in. The football people did not make the decisions, or the football people such as the CEO and the sporting director did not make the decision. The decision was already made before we came in. They also spoke about the transfer window. And of course, this has been a topic of discussion. Here's some of our players here. This has been a topic of discussion about the Dutch. Everyone's calling it the Dutch Revolution. We've got a Dutch manager. We've got assistant coaches who are Dutch. We've got players in who are Dutch. Historically, United have brought in players that are Dutch. But I'm glad that they shut this down. I'm glad Berrada, Dan Ashworth in particular, actually shut this down. They were asked about the signings in particular and that to confirm whether the signings are not down to one person. They said, did you not consider drawing a line with recruitment this summer with Erik ten Hag as he had persuaded under previous regimes? And it's kind of continued in terms of the Dutch players with Joshua Zirkzee, Matthias de Ligt, Nazir Mazraoui, who's not Dutch but obviously has links to the Netherlands, was born there, played under their manager, etc. Dan Ashworth went on to say, I cannot comment on what's happened previously. I don't know how they've made those decisions on players coming in. And as I've already alluded to, it's a joined up process. He went on to say, we look at objective, subjective opinions, and we come up with the best possible solution we can to fill the positions we have identified. Now, I'm really interested in this part in particular. He said, it's natural within human nature to work with someone you've worked with before. And that's applicable to all kind of context. I'm sure you guys have done that before. And he said, we've signed a number of players this summer that haven't worked with Erik previously, Yoro, Ugarte, and he's never worked with Joshua Zirkzee. And you can't just say because he's Dutch, he knows him. In that case, you could put all of the English market on me. So he's saying if we were to sign English players, you're going to put it on me. And because we're signing Dutch players, you're trying to put it on Erik ten Hag. He said he's worked with Mateus and Nazir previously. And as I said before, they were both on our radar. So he's kind of shut that down. M says, I agree, but if he's in top 6 race but progressing well in Europa League, he's staying until end of season 100%. Yeah, I think if he's in Europa League, which for me, Europa League is another place to kind of look at it because you've got 2 extra games now and a league format. Manchester United is arguably the strongest team in Europa League. I could say arguably, or maybe even not. They are the strongest team. They probably also spent the most in there as well. Manchester United should win Europa League. For me, Europa League is a good measurement to see how United are doing, as well as obviously in the league, because you're coming up against European teams. Last year, we struggled against the top European teams in the Champions League. If we have reinforcements this season and we are still struggling against, the mid-level European teams, then that is a serious question mark. Like someone else said, we have a great relationship with the Dutch. Historically, people just want to hate and will say anything. Yeah, the notion or this kind of argument of the Dutch stuff, I just find it funny. Because if United were to sign English players, what? Everyone's going to be like, oh, Brexit FC, you're just signing English players. They're just signing their own. If they sign specific people, look at Sir Alex Ferguson's, let's look at Sir Alex Ferguson's Champions League winning team in 2008, right? It was a very diverse team. Starting 11 was very diverse, but it had a Dutch player. Historically, United have had Dutch players. And they produce good footballing talents. I mean, the guy who won us trophy number 20, he was Dutch. Nobody complained then. Nobody then said, oh, United are always signing Dutch players. We're always signing Dutch strikers. Nobody really complained then. Nobody actually really complained when United announced Ruud van Nistelrooy. Maybe that's the privilege of being a former player. No one complained about Ruud van Nistelrooy when he was appointed as assistant coach. No one complained about the fact that he's Dutch. No one complained about that because obviously he's got some credit in the bank. He's obviously got some credit in the bank. But some other stuff, which for me, this picture is so weird. This picture is so weird to see. I will never get used to seeing Jadon Sancho in a Chelsea shirt. And you lot know my stance on this. You guys already know my opinion on letting Jadon Sancho join Chelsea. I saw a report today come up on my feed that he's stayed back with Maresca to work with the coaching staff, and they anticipate that he will make his debut after the international break. This picture hurts my eyes. I'm not gonna lie, because it's never right selling to, and somebody kind of countered or tried to argue with what I said, right, about selling to rivals. And someone was like to me, we brought RVP from Arsenal, we brought Mount from Chelsea. Yeah, Mount from Chelsea. Look how it's worked out. Look how it's worked out. And I've been speaking to some of my friends who are Chelsea fans, and we always laugh about the number of players that Chelsea have, but you look at the number of games that everyone's going to be playing if you're in European football. They're in the Conference League. Guys, Chelsea might have been onto something for having so many players, because you're going to need the depth. And God forbid you get into an injury crisis like we did last season. We are going to be effed. So Chelsea were kind of onto something. But, I saw this announcement. I just kind of shrugged it. It is what it is. Jadon Sancho from Manchester City Academy, now Man United, now Chelsea, possibly will stay. I think he will probably join Chelsea on a permanent, because his deal is pretty simple. Finish in 14th place and they have to buy him. Finish above 14th place and they have to buy him. That's their obligation to buy it. That's the terms and the conditions of it. For 25 million is, you lot know my opinion on it. You lot already know my opinion on it. But Dan Ashworth was asked about Jadon Sancho, and I'm glad he didn't speak about Jadon specifically. He basically said, the title of it is, we're not kicking players out of the club. He said, I think with any player, whether it's Jadon or Scott, or it's Aaron Wan-Bissaka, it's a preference that they would like to, if there's a preference that they would like to move on and go to a new club, and it's right for them and it's right for us, then you have to explore it. We felt we had enough depth in that particular position to be able to cover it. We've got 4 really good wide players. That's crazy to me that Jadon Sancho was 5th. That is crazy to me. I'm not going to lie. And hearing that, I'm like, Jadon Sancho is the 5th wide player choice. He's better than Anthony. He should at least be 4th. maybe even third, right? If we can argue about who's better between him and Garnacho. But there is no way he's fifth in the pecking order to Antony, right? But of course, I think there's other circumstances surrounding Jadon Sancho that we are not seeing as fans, but obviously they are seeing as people that are inside the club. And it's a particular part that he says, obviously, where he says, if there's a preference that they would like to move and it's right for them, the club will explore it. And I think that's the situation with Jadon Sancho. He probably wanted to leave. It was probably the best decision for him, so the club explored it, and it was probably it was the best decision for the club as well. He went on to say Jadon was a fifth choice, and it just enabled us to make that decision that if it was good for him and it's good for us, then it's something we are willing to consider. He was then asked about the future for him, and he said, they said, is there no future for him? And Ashworth went on to say, nothing to do with that. It was a decision that we made. If it's right for Jadon and it's right for us, then we move on. He wanted to explore the opportunity at Chelsea, like Scott wanted to explore the opportunity at Napoli, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka wanted to explore the opportunity at West Ham. We're not in a position where we're kicking players out of the club. Now, obviously, that's the question. That's the kind of thing that has been alluded to for quite some time now about them kicking people out. And Ashworth kind of has confirmed that that's not the case. It was, like I said, if it's the best decision for the player and for the club, go and do it. But Chelsea is still a question mark. It's still a question mark. Apparently, Man United gave Chelsea 2 offers for Sancho. 1, a loan with an obligation to buy. 2, with a loan with no obligation to buy. I think this was what Chelsea were trying to explore. But Man United only wanted to explore obligations, which is why I also think the fee is a bit lower, 25 million. I think 20 million is the fee. It takes up to 25 with add-ons. I think if there was a loan with no obligation to buy, I think the fee would have been about 40 million. It would have been a lot higher. But I think because it was a guaranteed transfer kind of thing at the end of it, I mean, finishing above 14th, surely Chelsea will. United feel like it was an L that they had to take. It was an L that they had to take. Let's talk about squad depth. I hope you guys can see this. Let me zoom in a little bit. Here's United's squad depth for the season. Can you guys see that? Let me know if you lot can see that. Now, Ashworth and Berrada were also asked about how confident they are about the squad depth and how it compares to Man City. Like, firstly, I don't know why we're comparing it to Man City. You lot can't see it. Oh shit, my bad. Oh, that's way too much. Even I can't see it now. All right, let's start with the front line. We'll start with the front line before we get into the depth further down. Ashworth said, oh, I like the squad, and I have to say, I probably would say that after the business we've done this summer. I probably had about 25 windows, and I've been doing this for a fair period of time. I don't think there's ever been a window where we've gone, oh my God, it's absolutely perfect. But in the main part, the target positions we wanted to strengthen, the players we brought in, the depth and the options when everybody is fully fit that Eric has and we have as a club, I'm pleased with that. They went on to ask and say, how long will it take until United are in a place where they use transfer windows to make minor tweaks as a squad, similar to Manchester City? And then he said, I think anybody who's worked in football for a long time could tell you that it's impossible to put a time scale on that. What I can say is that it's been demonstrated when you look at other teams who have been successful consistently, it's because they have the right coach, they sign the right players, they have the right structure around the coach and the players, and you need to take good decisions consistently, which is where we want to be. It's interesting. Let's look at the depth. Let's look at the squad depth. And we'll start with the frontline part. That scares me. You lot know I was talking about it all the time that United should push for Ivan Toney if they could financially afford it. Seeing him go to Saudi for 40 million, which, by the way, I do not blame him. I do not blame Ivan Toney for going to Saudi Arabia. He's making 1 million a week. GBP, no tax. He went from playing League One football to making 1 million a week. I don't blame him. Football's short, man. Do what you have to do. But I'm looking at that front line and I'm thinking, Rasmus Højlund gave us 15 goals in all comps last season. He didn't get his first league goal until December. I really hope. What are the plus numbers for? So that's how many years they got left on their contract. That is the plus next to their name is how many years they got next to their contract. And then if they're in red, it's players that we've signed this season. So it's essentially Manchester United have only really brought in one new forward player. right? In that front line in Joshua Zirkzee. You look at the years left on them. Couple years is most of them couple years. I think Amad Diallo is expected to start talks with Manchester United on a new deal. But equally so, he can turn around and say, if I'm not starting or I'm not a guaranteed starter or regular starter in the team, I'm not going to, I don't want to stay. And I think, by the way, teams will be lining up for him. I think teams will be lining up for Amad Diallo. But that front line, you look at how many goals do you think the centre forward position are giving us? Højlund and Zirkzee. In the league, let's talk about in the league, right? Because I feel like in cup competitions, United just get goals from somewhere. So let's talk about in the league. Højlund and Zirkzee. Just give me a rough number. How many goals do you think they're getting between the two of them? How many goals do you think? Because I think they have to get 20 at least. 20 at least. They have to get 20 at the minimum. If there's one getting 11 and the other getting 9, if there's one getting 10, if they're both getting 10, but for me, they have to, like, how many Højlund had 16 goals. Thanks, Z, for correcting me, by the way. 16 goals all comps. Surely they have to get 20, man. 20 for me is reasonable for two strikers. I'm not asking one of them to score 20. I'm asking two to score 20. Let me see what you lot are saying. 15 max, 10 for Højlund, 5 for Zirkzee. I mean, Zirkzee's already got 1. So you're saying that Zirkzee's going to score 4 more goals in the league. Big up Wajid. Wajid, it was nice to see you on Sunday, man. Big up. 15 between the two of them. 15 is low. 17. Jonathan says 18. Damn. RD says Zirkzee isn't prolific. Lucky to get 10 each. 15. Ridwan says in the Prem only Højlund 13, Zirkzee 8. Haaland will get 29 alone. Yeah. We know what Haaland's going to get. Zirkzee 5, Højlund 12. If Højlund can stay fit, 15 to 20. I don't know about that. I don't know. 20 goals for Højlund in the league? I don't know. 8 for Zirkzee, 10 for Højlund, 18 max. So you think one of them will at least... All right, one thing I realized, you lot all think Højlund's scoring more than Zirkzee, right? Hear me out. If Højlund and Zirkzee start together, if they play together, they're scoring 20 goals. They're scoring 20 goals altogether if they start together. I think Højlund, one thing we've seen is that if he's left to fend for himself, he will struggle. It took him until December to get the ball rolling, but we saw in the Champions League last season, he was able to create stuff for himself. Nuruddin says Højlund domination season. I hope so. Everyone seems to be under the impression that Højlund's going to get more goals than Zirkzee, which is good because it's your second year in the league. The Zirkzee is his debut year, so I feel like people are a lot more. I feel like people are a lot more lenient on a player when it's their first season. When it's your second season, I've said this. I said everyone that we signed last season, this season have to have a top season. Everyone we signed last season, for me, this season has to have a top season. Because even if you consider what Berrada says about the kind of 2-year and you're out thing, this year is kind of a trial for some people. And no, the eyes are on you. Berrada's eyes are on you. Højlund, Mount, all of you lot that we signed last season, the eyes are on you. 25, 15 for Højlund and 10 for Zirkzee. All right, so one person thinks that they can both get double-digit goals. Minna, Obi Martin, Lasal, and Kone missing from the squad. One thing, the reason why they're not in the squad, by the way, is because 2 of them have been brought for the academy. Can I say that? Obi Martin and Lasal, for me, I think they're going to be in the under-18s first. Then they're going to come either straight to the first team or under-21 team. Kone has been brought with the intention to play in the under-21 team. Even though he's 18, he's been brought to play with the under-21 team and then come through to the first team. So I don't expect any of them to be in this map of part of the depth for the first team. Kone, can I say, is clear that they're going to integrate him into Manchester United and into England. Is a big jump going from Mali to England, so it's going to be a cultural change, etc. They expect him to go into the under-21s, which I think he was out watching the under-21s on the weekend, and then eventually come to the first team. I give all of these guys, 3 of them, I give them 18 months. I give them 18 months before we see them as part of this map of depth for the team. Our top goal scorer got 10 last season. That's true. Seko Kone will be in the squad second half, I believe. If he gets into the first team second half of the season, I'll be shocked. Because I've watched him in the under-17s World Cup. There was also someone as well saying in the chat that was from Mali a couple of days ago, saying that he's still got a bit left to kind of be in the first team, even the fact that he's not in the national team first team yet. So if he gets to the second half of the season and he gets integrated, I'll be shocked, because it's been kind of emphasized about the kind of life jump from, he doesn't speak English, he only speaks French, he has a translator with him. It's a big lifestyle jump, it's a big cultural jump to come from Mali to England, kind of get him settled into life in England. I mean, you're coming from a country where it's hot all the time to where it's cold. So I don't know. I think he will be, I'm saying 12 months in the under 21s, and then next summer he goes preseason with United. And I think that would be the case for quite a few of them. I think Lasau as well and Obi Martin will be part of preseason next year, and hopefully they pop off. I think right now they're still waiting for ratification from the Premier League. So the Premier League need to hurry up and get that sorted ASAP. They need to hurry up and get that sorted ASAP. Big up to Riri with the big super chat. With the big super chat. Says, Mina will get to 7K this season. Listen, I don't care about the 7K. Look at the super chat that Riri just sent in. I need to get a Riri emoji ASAP. I don't have 100 emoji. What emoji should I drop? W is in the chat, by the way, for Riri, guys. W in the chat for Riri with the big super chat. That's the emoji I have to drop. That's the emoji I have to drop for Riri. I got who else? I think Nuruddin got an emoji as well. He's got the 50 emoji there. I need to do 100 emoji with like Riri's face in the middle. That's what I need to do. Big W's in the chat. Thank you, Riri. I appreciate the contribution so much. The gift that is always given on the channel, that is Riri. For me, 10K is the goal by my birthday. And my birthday's in February. So we might be able to get there. We might be able to get there, inshallah. God willing, God willing. It's all about community, guys. It's all about community. Now, let's get on to the topic of the wingers, because someone just mentioned it in the chat as well. They said, someone in the chat, let me bring it up. I always hate scrolling up, man. Damn. And my eyesight is so bad. Here it is. Big up to D-Law says, how many assists from the wingers? What are you guys saying? How many assists are these wingers getting? How many assists? Rashford, Garnacho, Anthony, Amad Diallo. I'm still shocked that Eric Ten Hag, that Ashworth said that Sancho is fifth choice, because he's not the fifth best player out of the wingers, but circumstances, I guess. Between the four of them, they need to, I don't even know how much assists. I can't even predict it. I'd say if Ahmed gets 7, 6 from Garnacho, 5 from Rashford. If I'm, we're in the mud if I'm saying like 20 assists between all of them. Is that reasonable? Is that reasonable? 20 assists between 4 of them? I think that's reasonable. So, but put it in the chat, guys, how much you lot think they can get between them. Z says Rashford 5, Garnacho 7, Ahmad 10. I think Ahmad will get the most out of them, because I feel like Ahmad is the one that's looking to create out of all of them, if that makes sense. But also, can I say, there is no guarantee for these assists. Rashford could have had 2 assists on the weekend. So it just depends if people are willing to finish the food on their plate and put their chances away. We might have to come back at the end of the season. And look at possible potential assists. We might have to create a new stat called PA, potential assists, and see how many assists somebody could have had if people put away the clear-cut chances that they created. But for me, I think Amad Diallo could get the most out of all of them, just because he's always looking to create. Rashi 6, Ghana 5, Ahmad 7, Anthony 3. I think Anthony will get 1 or 2 at the most. I don't think Anthony is really going to play much, guys. Honestly, I don't think Anthony is going to play much. I actually think Eric Ten Hag has realized this guy has been an unused sub, or has played a couple of minutes each time. I think he's finished. I think his time at Manchester United is finished, and I truly think he will only come on for depth You know, when you need to switch it up. Maybe like when we play a Barnsley. You know, those kind of games he will play. Because I think Eric Ten Hag might be wise enough to save legs for you know, save Garnacho, save Ahmad, etc. But I just don't see him playing much. Anthony says this team lacks creativity in all areas. Big up to Raymond, says watching live from Bermuda. I know where Bermuda is, guys. This club needs depth. We are way too light squad-wise. When you look at our bench, it's pitiful. I mean, you look at Liverpool's bench, right? Liverpool's bench on the weekend. Did you see their bench, guys? They had Gakpo, they had Nunes, Harvey Elliott, Connor Bradley. I might be missing names, but Chiesa wasn't on the bench, but that's a new name that they got that will be on the bench. They had some serious bench options, and you looked at our bench. Nothing on the bench. Absolutely no. The only game changer on the bench was Ahmad. That's it. That's the only person you can bring on to change it up a little bit. Everybody else, Eriksen, I was actually shocked he came on. I thought at that point, what's the point? What is the point? If Anthony gets 5 assists, give him an MBE. Ahmad 6, Garnacho 4, MBE 2. If Marcus Rashford gets 2 assists, that will be embarrassing on his end. But the thing is, I think Ahmad will create, but they won't finish. I think this is the thing that people are going to face a lot. They're going to face people creating and nothing kind of stemming from it. Now, this is the part where it gets interesting. It gets interesting here. Let's look at these guys here. Let's look at the depth we have here. Yeah? I think we are most stacked in our backline. I think our backline, is disgraceful, by the way. This I got from The Athletic. Shout out to The Athletic. Like you lot know, I love a good Athletic article. I used to freelance for them. I'm not shamelessly plugging, but I used to freelance for them. How can they put Mazraoui as a depth option on the right-hand side? I'm sorry, Luke Shaw is expected to return to Manchester United's defense, but he should not be starting. Luke Shaw coming in as a starter will absolutely make me Ten Hag out. I'm not even joking. Am I being dramatic? Maybe I am joking, but I'm being a little bit dramatic. But if Luke Shaw comes back in and deserves to go straight back into the lineup, nah. You should earn your spot, just like everyone else has to earn their spot. Just like Amad Diallo has to earn his spot. He should deserve to earn his spot. For me, I think Mazraoui right back. I think he's better than Dalot. I think he might be better than Dalot. I like Dalot, and I think one thing for Diogo Dalot is that he's continuously improved every season, so that will allow him to continue to start, right? But if you have to pick between Mazraoui and Dalot, guys, who are you picking? And it really hurts me to say that because I don't think Luke Shaw should start. I don't think he should start. I think he should get match fit first. Play him in a Europa League against 20. Play him in a Europa League against, someone. Let him get match fit. But if 2 players are still playing good as fullbacks, they deserve to continue to play. For me, players shouldn't. We argue about, we complain about Rashford, right? People say, oh, Rashford, why does he have credit in the bank? Then the issue, he shouldn't. But then that shouldn't also extend to other players too. Z says Dalot. Riri says Mazza over Dalot. Mazraoui. This manager will start Luke Shaw. I think he will. Mohamed Salah said in an interview, Luke Shaw was one of the toughest defenders he's ever faced. Can we accept that Luke Shaw, possibly when he came up against Mohamed Salah historically, is not the same Luke Shaw now? He's great, right? But I'm not kidding, guys. We're just going to hold our breath every time Luke Shaw goes into a tackle or he goes down or he gets subbed off. We are going to be struggling. We're going to hold our breaths and be like, oh my God, is he injured? Your Arabic pronunciation is very good. Thank you. I'm actually, guys, if you don't know, I'm learning Arabic. So I'm practicing on my streams whilst I learn Arabic. And shout out to madrasa classes when I was a kid, because obviously when you learn how to read the Quran, you learn how to pronounce stuff better in Arabic. But I appreciate that. That's a serious compliment, guys, because I've literally been trying to learn. I gave myself 10 years to learn Arabic because Saudi Arabia will be hosting the 2034 World Cup. And I missed out on Qatar. I can't miss out on Saudi. So I need to be speaking fluent by then. Mazraoui is also an injury-prone player. Even if we dislike the idea, it might be better to start Shaw to protect Mazraoui. I think one thing I will say is good to have these conversations because it just shows us that we got some quality in the depth, right? We've got some quality, and we're having this debate of who should start, who should start. I think a lot of the time it might come down to the game. If it's a game where United are going to need overload and overlaps from the fullbacks, Luke Shaw might start. If it's a game where United might need, I don't know, a player to be a lot more inverted like Mazraoui is for United, then he could start. I think it will just depend on the game. Now you look at the defense, right? I think United's defense might be sorted for I don't want to say for the foreseeable future. We might have to add one more centre back, 2 more centre backs. But you look at that defensive line and everybody's got 3 years at the minimum. People who you want to have a long-term future at the club, they have a 3-year minimum left on their contract. You got Luke Shaw, you got Amas, you got Licha, you got Delit, you got Yoro, you got Mazraoui, you got Dalot. United might go into a future window and buy maybe 2 centre backs. They might, with Harry Maguire in his last year, Johnny Evans and Lindelof in their last years, we might go into the transfer window and sign 2 more centre backs after this. Maybe next season, and then just a cheap centre back option. I would have liked Rabiot, but he's over at Chelsea rotting on their bench. He's just rotting on their bench. Big up to Adam, the newest member of the Minion Gangs. You lot are spoiling me today. Super chats, memberships. Yeah, you lot are spoiling me today, man. Big up to Adam. Welcome to the community. Make sure you use the emojis because that's all I like to plug all the time. When you're a member, you get to use emojis. And of course, as a member, you get to support the channel and you get to support me. So I really, really appreciate it. Big up to Adam. You get that little minion emoji next to your name. Look at the midfield, guys. Oh, shit. Damn. Why did I just do that? Look at the midfield. Ugarte, as KG likes to say. Ugarte, Casemiro, and Toby Collier. How do you not feel about that? How do you not feel about that particular depth? Or do you feel like United are going kind of down the right path now with having these 3 options there? You got an experienced player in Casemiro. I know you lot don't want me to say that, but he's experienced. His wife told us, she said, bring your trophies to the table. You lot want to chat shit about my husband. Bring your trophies to the table. So you have him. You also have, who else? Manuel Ugarte. And then you got a young talent in Collier that gets to learn under them. I don't think it's bad. I think it's good. If everyone can stay fit and we don't put too much weight. I actually think, right? You see where Kobe is? I think Casemiro should be there. We didn't even speak about this. We'll speak about this as well. I think Casemiro should be there. Is it only my stream that keeps pausing and load? I hope it's only you. It's not happening on my side, Steffi, so I hope it's only you. M says, looking at this squad, not good enough. Nuruddin says, despite the quality, I need Ten Hag to set them up to their best, not their worst. I beg of you, Baldy. That's what I'm saying. I think Casemiro should be a bit more in that centre mid role because for me, that's his strength. That's his strength. United ain't going anywhere. I'm not going to read the rest of that, Adam. It's decent. It feels like 3 generations. It is 3 it's true. It's true. It's 3 generations. That is low-key 3 generations. Paper-wise, yes, but reality, it ain't good enough. Well, now that United have spent 200 million, right? We got a January window on our horizon. Then we got the summer window next year. Of course, I think there's still gaping holes that kind of need to be answered. Who have the better squad, us or Spurs? That's a good question. Should we try bring up a side? Let me see if I can bring up a side by side. I don't think I will be able to find one. Let me see. Nah, I won't be able to. Oh, wait, no. I thought I could get it on Transfer Market, but I can't. We'll just have to do it off the top of our heads. I think United. I could say United. I could say our squad is better. But the thing is we can't just say who's got the better squad. We can't say who's got the better squad because even if having the better squad doesn't do anything, it doesn't do anything. Obviously, Spurs, I think they lost, right? On the weekend. If I'm not wrong, I think they lost. Everyone stay fit. No, but it's the worst thing. But the thing is, can I say, even Ashworth kind of alludes to it as well, that they're setting up Erik ten Hag where if fit, they will have the best, they will have a good team. I'd take Vicario, yeah. I'd take Vicario over Onana. Let's look at the goalkeeper depth. We got Heaton, Bayinda. Shout out to the Turkish brother. Doesn't even get to play, but at least he gets to live in Manchester, right? And Onana. I'm sure he'd rather live in Turkey, I'm not gonna lie. I'd rather live in Istanbul than live in Manchester. And then we got Onana. I'm not gonna lie, I agree with OJ. I'd take Vicario. I would absolutely take Vicario. I look at their forward line. I mean, Solanke, I'm taking Solanke over any of our strikers. We spent only net 30 mil. Are you, Skipper, are you a Spurs fan? Just confirm that if you are a Spurs fan. Because if you did only spend 30 in net, that's decent. Vicario, Porro, Van de Ven, Udogi, Madison, Solanke, Odebert, Son, Basuma. Who are you guys? All right, let me ask you a question. Let me just be a you know, I don't want to say devil's advocate, but let me just be cheeky for a second, right? Centre back pairings: De Ligt and Licha, Romero and Van de Ven. Who are you taking? Who do you guys think is the better one? Who do you think is the better one? Romero versus De Ligt. The thing is, am I going off of what I expect from De Ligt, or am I going off of what I've seen from De Ligt? Because right now, we ain't seen much. We've seen half a game against Liverpool where we conceded 3 goals, and then we've seen small appearances here and there. From what I expect, I'll say De Ligt. But Romero has played a bit more. And the thing is with Romero, he scares me low-key. Like, sometimes you just don't know what you're going to get with him. He's just all emotion, all heart. He's all heart. It's scary sometimes. You lot are all agreeing with me. Ali says De Ligt and Licha. I'm taking Van de Ven at left centre-back, although he has cheese-string hamstrings. I'd take Udogi in a heartbeat. Udogi is good. Udogi is really, really good. I don't rate Romero, so I'd go De Ligt and Licha. Romero is a good option to have. De Ligt over Romero. Van de Ven over Licha. By the way, guys, Day is a Spurs fan. Romero is much better. Come on. Their midfield trio versus ours. I think their midfield trio will spank us. I think it would spank us. Do you guys agree? Look at our midfield. The thing is, I can't say it with Ugarte because we ain't seen Ugarte. So we're saying Kobe and Casemiro with a 2 versus their midfield. Yeah. It's easy. I'm looking forward to the Spurs game, by the way. We play them in, end of September, on the 29th, I think. I'm looking forward to that game. It's going to be a good game. I hope it's going to be a good game. I don't want to jinx myself, but I do hope that it will be a good game. Of course, one thing I like now, can I say, is international break. I don't know about you lot, guys. I don't watch football during international break. I don't watch international games. I have no interest for Nation League and Friendly and Qualifier and all of that stuff. I don't know. Someone said to me one day that makes me a fake football fan. I don't think that makes me a fake football fan. I'm just not interested. I'm only interested in international football when it's a pivotal qualification game, or it's a tournament. That's the only time I'm really interested in international football. So I won't be doing any watch-alongs or anything, any previews, none of that stuff. I'm just going to use this week and a bit to kind of rejuvenate and come up with new ideas. Minna, just a thought. Since we aren't getting many goals or assists from our wingers, do you think we should shift to a midfield 4 to address the overload issue? I want to see 4-4-2. I've been saying for ages, I want to see a 4-4-2 that nullifies wingers. But I feel like in football now, every team plays, like, you can't play football without wingers, right? I feel like you cannot play football anymore without wingers. Everybody's always got wingers, right? So if we have to do that, I'd rather play. I would like to see. Do you guys remember the 4-4-2 under Sir Alex Ferguson with Tevez and Ronaldo and that? Let me bring it up. what year was that? Man United. Let me just bring up UCL final, the formation. Because those I would like to see United in something like that. Let me see if I can find. Here it is. Very simple. Very, very simple. It's a simple 4-4-2. Well, it's a simple 4-4-2. Let me bring it up on here. Now, this was a good minute. You aren't getting that 4-4-2. I know. It's wishful thinking. By the way, when I play FIFA, guys, this is the formation that I play United with. This is the formation that I played with United with. 4-2-4. I think 4-2-4 would work. 4-2-4 would work with the 2 wingers and 2 midfielders. But it will only work if they are sitting. Oh, what the hell? This is wrong. This is not what I was trying to show. This is a combined team. Yeah, no, sorry. They combined. This was the combined team from 2018, basically. Yeah, clearly I didn't look properly. Here you go. Here's the formation, right? Ronaldo, he was obviously playing as a winger. You know what's so funny? There's some people out there that actually think United were Ronaldo was number 9. It's actually crazy. I was talking to one of my relatives who's quite young. Not quite young, but young in football terms. And he actually thought Ronaldo used to be solely a striker. Nah. But this kind of formation, right? Or if you play the wingers more advanced, where it's like 4-2-4, I play that in FIFA all the time. I'm not saying it will work in real life, but I would like to see United try it. The only way I see this midfield working is if the midfield sits. The midfielders have to sit and not kind of be up and down the pitch non-stop. And it definitely cannot be one midfielder sitting there by himself. Carrick is what we need, a tempo setter, volume passer, dominate the midfield. Scholes is that too, but with more ability. Carrick, for me, is one of the most underrated English players of that time. I feel like because it was the era of Lampard, Scholes, Gerrard, all of that stuff, Carrick went under the radar. But if you were a United fan, you knew how good Carrick was. You knew it. For me, Carrick is a player that doesn't get his accolades enough. He does not get the respect that he deserves. And United missed that kind of player. I think here, Wajid says it here, we never replaced Carrick. I've been saying for ages, United only replaced, I would say United only replaced this season officially Vidic and Rio, the partnership, because Varane was a short-term solution, right? Till today, we still haven't replaced Carrick. Not Carrick at his peak. Not Carrick at his best. We have not done that. And that is why in the summer transfer window, you lot know, we're doing daily streams here. I have been saying that Man United need a dictator. They need a dictator, not Mugabe, not a presidential dictator. They need a dictator in midfield. They need someone that can pull the strings. They need a tempo setter. They need someone that can literally recycle possession for United and calm the game down when needed and speed the game up when necessary. But they don't have that. And they haven't had that for a long, long time. And that is what we miss in that midfield. Easily, without a doubt. That's what we miss. Now, would I like United to experiment? I think also, can I say it quickly? I feel like football goes in cycles when it comes to formations, when it comes to type of players, etc. I feel like now we're in a cycle where you don't see this kind of formation. Back in the day, you saw this formation kind of often. I feel like now you don't really see it that much. But I would like United to try it. Do I want to see a 3-5-2? I don't really want to see 3 in the back. I don't really want to see wing backs. But over here, I don't know if you lot watched the Evra's interview that he did on the overlap. But he was talking about how when he came to United, the first ever, the thing that he started doing that at the time and a lot of people never used to do was underlap. He was like, Ronaldo would go out wide or Giggs would go out wide. And he was like, I would underlap. And he was like, players would always follow me because they expect the fullback to overlap. And when they see me kind of coming central, it would free up a lot of space on the wide side. I would like to see that happen a bit more. I feel like we see it a little bit sometimes with the underlap, with Dalot sometimes coming central, with Mazraoui. I mean, Mazraoui got a shot off from a position that some people would say that a fullback shouldn't have been in the first place. So there's a lot of stuff that I want to see under Erik ten Hag. But I truly think, guys, and this is this maybe a hot take? I don't know if you lot will agree with me. I truly think Erik ten Hag will continue to persist with what he wants because he's going to make it adamant to work. And until it's not working and he's out of a job, I don't think he's going to change his formation. I truly think that. I think this 4-2-3-1, 3-1-6 in possession, the press, I think he's going to persist with it until it's no longer persistable, i.e. he's not employed. I would love to see new formations tried out. I would love to see something like this. It's obviously not ideal to change formation and change style, but if you don't remember, even under Sir Alex Ferguson, there was games where he would switch up the formation without the rival team anticipating it. I would love to see that. Eric Ten Hag said to the journalists, he's not Harry Potter after all. Yeah, he's not a magician. He's not a magician. I don't expect Eric Ten Hag to create magic, because I myself don't believe in magic, guys. I don't believe in magic. But I don't expect him to be a magician. I don't expect him to change the unchangeable, but I expect him to improve stuff. I expect there to be improvements. I expect him to change something when it's not working. And I expect, personally, when there's something clearly not working, which we know where the biggest problem lies, I expect there to be something switched up. Ronaldo in 2008 is the best Ronaldo I've seen in England. Next level stuff. The only Ballon d'Or winner we've seen at United. Other 3 Ballon d'Or winners are from the 60s, Law, Charlton, Best. Listen, Ronaldo, and funnily enough, you know what? It's fitting to have a conversation about Ronaldo, because yes, I'm wearing an Al Nassr shirt, but I'm not wearing it because of Ronaldo. I'm wearing it because my friend plays for Al Nassr. Ronaldo in 2008. I am so glad. I know he went on to do amazing stuff at Real Madrid, right? And that run at Real Madrid was ridiculous. That team that he worked with, the players that he had, the Benzemas, the Bells, Modric, etc., right? But Ronaldo in 2008 was next level footballer. He was next level. Like United in 2008. That's why I've got this up here, guys. This here is from Van der Sar, the save that he made in the final, right? The Champions League final. But that 2008 team, Manchester United, for me, is probably my favorite Man United team of all time. And obviously, you're not going to say, what about the 90s, etc.? I was a kid then. I was a child. But that 2008 team, for me, obviously to go to, what was it? 3 finals in 4 years. 3 finals in 4 years. 3 finals in 4 years. But that Ronaldo, watching Ronaldo in 2008, it's a story. It's something. It's one of them stuff where you had to be there. You had to be there. And that's why I hate when I see kids nowadays talking about how Ronaldo was a striker. Nah. Mina, Liverpool slapped you up bad. Brother, do you not support Manchester United as well? Where are your standards, Mina? Brother, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Expected stubbornness. That's a funny one. That is a funny one. But you don't know what it is. Listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button. 99 2002 was close second. Yeah, I'm not gonna give away my age, but I was young then, but I remember that. For me, you know, if you don't remember, the Vodafone shirt, historic. Whenever you lot see certain shirts, does it remind you of certain players? Because I'm the same. When I see certain United shirts, it reminds me of certain players. Sister, I am mad at United. So am I, brother. So am I. We're here for the jokes. We don't support United. Listen, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. If you do not laugh, you will cry. Big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button, guys, and be sure to subscribe. Did we get to 100 likes? We did. We even surpassed it. If you are watching this back, be sure to hit the like button as well. If you are new here, welcome. If you lot can do me a favor, can I find it? I can find it. Do me one favor. I'm going to drop it in the chat. Please go and subscribe to my new gaming channel. Please. You know, I don't say please often. Actually, I do. I'm a very well-mannered person. I do say please. But please go and subscribe to my new gaming channel here, where I will do all my gaming content there. Vodafone, Rude. Yeah, Vodafone, Rude. AIG, I remember different people. I'm not going to lie. Aeon, I remember Rooney. I'm not going to lie. Aeon reminds me of Rooney when that kit that was going like this. AIG reminds, like when I see the blue 2008 United shirt, Ronaldo. I remember Ronaldo. I also remember Scholes for some reason. RVP, I remember the Aeon shirt, the one that we won. Sharp Bex. Here you go. Wajid says it right here. Wajid says it right here. So Minna, you move off Twitch. No, I'm still on Twitch. But I'm gonna use YouTube to do streams as well and to post like videos of my streams. So if I stream on Twitch and I don't stream on YouTube, I will post clips on there. Do we have to be gamers? Do you like Mario Kart? I love Mario Kart. I really want to get a Switch, you know? I'm really considering to get a Switch. I don't know. I travel a bit and it's always nice to just have a handheld game console, but I don't know. If you got a Switch and you think I should get a Switch, let me know. But be sure to hit the like button, guys. Be sure to subscribe. If we have any news, which I doubt it, because the transfer window is done. If we have any news between now and tomorrow, I'll be live. What about Call of Duty? Brother, I play Call of Duty all the time on Twitch. I play Call of Duty all the time. I play Warzone all the time. Rebirth, the big map. I was meant to stream with a Man United women's player before pre-season, but pre-season is start for the women's team, so she said we'll do it soon. But I do COD streams, multiplayer. Maybe I might do multiplayer if there is enough people. I could do custom multiplayer games, but that's obviously only if there's enough of us. It has to be like 12 people. But EAFC, NBA 2K, Elden Ring, if I ever get around to finishing it. Minna, assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. So yeah, make sure you check out the gaming channel and the Twitch if you want. Big up to everyone that joined, members. Shout out to Riri with the super chat. Shout out everyone with the super chats today, and to the new members as well. EAFC is dead now. I can't lie. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the new one. The new one's coming out in a couple of weeks. I should be going to a launch event as well, so I'll be able to do some content from there. And then when the new game comes out, then I can do a lot of like EAFC streams. Ornstein posted Manchester United news. Let's go see. Let's go see what Ornstein has posted. Go on. Man United deputy football director expected to leave. Andy O'Boyle. Who are you? Manchester United are set to make more changes, with deputy football director Andy O'Boyle set to leave Old Trafford after 2 years in the post. If you are there under those other guys, Murto, Arnold, I'm happy with you leaving. That ain't no problem. O'Boyle was heavily involved in the recent summer transfer window, as well as the arrivals, all the arrivals and all the departures. All right. It was nice to know you. He's been in the role for 2 years. It is what it is. But listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow. Actually, no daily dose of Minna tomorrow because I'm traveling. So I'll be back on Thursday with the daily dose of Minna. If there's anything between now and tomorrow, then obviously there'll be content out. But you don't know what it is. Be sure to hit the like button, guys, and be sure to subscribe. Welcome, everyone, new members, new subscribers, all of that stuff. I hope you have a wonderful evening, afternoon, wherever you get up to, guys. I'm out. Peace.